likes of which our country has never seen. It'll end up being a rigged election, or they will never come out with an outcome. They'll have to do it again.
What do you think of the president's continued attack on mail-in voting and his allegation?
Mary, are you here?
Well, he's not just doing a very good job of distinguishing.
You said yes. Mary, do wisps and fairies live in the in-between 3D and 4D area? Is that where wisps and fairies live?
County, Nevada, Las Vegas, who no longer live at those addresses. The post office has said those people no longer, they've moved. They no longer live at those addresses. He's not done a good job.
So would it be safe to say that those that were able to see fairies and wisps had their sixth sense, I don't know, activated?
We don't have the systems in place to handle the other thing, which is what we see in Nevada, we saw it in New York, we see it in California.
While you were alive on Earth, did you have your sixth sense activated?
The state of Washington State, one of those states said it took them 5 years to put those systems in place to do it accurately. And the idea that we're going to send out ballots.
Can you tell me about when you saw a fairy when you were alive?
6 years, and whom the post office has said don't live at those addresses is wrong and a disaster in the making.
Susan, a number of Republican officials worry that the result of the president bashing mail-in voting is that Democrats will take advantage of it and vote by mail. And some Republicans who don't want to go because of the virus to the polls won't vote at all. Isn't there a possibility here the president will be walking down his own vote?
I hear this from state Republican parties, which are focused on getting their voters to use mail-in ballots, but this is a huge I don't think Democrats see this as a benefit. This is a huge concern for Democrats. That most Americans will want to vote for them, but many of them will be deterred from voting by problems
Is that a
with
D
or fears
or
about
an E?
getting a mail-in ballot. There was no more consistent message from the Democratic convention than to plan to vote early, to vote by mail, to vote to prepare to go to the polls from the first night
No, that's an I.
to the last word with Joe Biden.
S.
Chris,
meanwhile, Mark,
I could add a quick data point to that.
L.
In 2016, 1 million people, roughly a million Democrats and a million Republicans in Florida voted by mail. This year, 3.4 million people have requested an absentee ballot. Nearly 2 million Democrats and about 1 million for Republicans. So what was it? 58,000 voted.
Many fairies can be that wasn't a D, that was an E. Many fairies can be visible in 3D. So.
Okay, let me switch to another subject. Mark Meadows, the chief of staff that we spoke to at the beginning of the program.
So there are beings that can be visible in 3D and live in the ghost or the in-between area of in-between 3D and 4D. Can some human soul ghosts make themselves visible too?
For the Postal Service, is she saying that the Postal Service is more important than unemployed Americans?
Yes.
They didn't meet. The fact is that there has been no compromise.
Mary, my next question is about music. I was wondering in the fifth dimension if there's sort of like a merger between the logarithmic and the ratio style way of constructing scales for music. Is there a merger between 12 ET, which is the logarithm, and then just intonation, which is ratios?
The idea that the Democrats in the House majority there, passed a bill now, I guess back in May, gives you an idea that there was inaction from the White House and the Senate side on the Republicans in dealing with this issue. And the Democrats are making the case that not only do you need to vote for individuals, you need to bolster the states in order to make sure.
Is it because of leaders don't want you to tell me? Is that why you can't say?
Susan, it's interesting though. Nancy Pelosi, here's Mark Meadows up on the hill saying, "Well, let's do a skinny relief bill, and it will provide."
Well, I think that that's a very interesting topic, and I wish leaders would let you say. Did a leader just now tell you? Like, did they just communicate to you right now that not to tell me?
You not only saw more than 24 Republicans break with their party in the House.
No.
You also saw half of the Democratic
So
caucus.
you just knew that a leader wouldn't want me to know. Is that true?
So there's pressure on both sides. I mean, the country has a crisis, and Congress has been unable to act for months. That doesn't look good for either side.
But having said that,
How did you know that?
Houses, both the House and the Senate, are going to be out of session at this point, continuing on into Labor Day. So is this just going to drag on without people getting added federal benefits, without a victim
Is that a B?
protection into September?
R-E.
Susan?
Well, a deal.
A.
There's no guarantee for a deal, but there is the possibility.
K.
That's
S.
a very optimistic note on which to end. Thank you, panel.
A.
See you next Sunday. Up next,
R.
heading into our second largely
U.
virtual convention. We look
L.
at big moments from Republican
E.
conventions past.
It breaks a rule. Wow. So you have a specific rule that says that you can't tell about whether music is a merger between 12D and just intonation. Is that true? There's a rule that says that. Yes. T. O. Y. O. U. There's a rule that you can't say that to me. When did you learn about that rule that you couldn't tell me that? B. E. C. A. U. S. E. I. T. J. Or I-S. K. O. P. Y. Or W. K. E. D. G. D. T. I. A. T. Y. W. O. U. L. D.
I love it. I just wear a little sensor,
C.
and that's it. It's totally
H.
painless and private.
A.
Sends my glucose readings to my
N.
receiver every 5 minutes.
G.
I just pull it out of my pocket and look,
E.
and I don't have to prick my finger.
Dexcom
T.
puts you in control, not your diabetes.
H.
Honey,
E. P.
A.
T.
I'll be 10 by then, so
H.
I'm at my own place.
what are you thinking about moving?
Arizona.
Okay, Mary, I got because it is, and then what was the word that you said after it is? I didn't get that. It started with a K.
It's in your hands.
Because it is what? Okay.
The
B.
Democrats managed to pull off the nation's
R.
first virtual convention.
E.
Now all eyes are on the Republicans.
A.
To see if they can produce a show that lives up
K.
to their past convention.
S.
What will happen
Because it breaks.
to the actual business of the roll call? The 19
Because it, no, it was because it is.
television covered the event.
Did you write before? You wrote because it is? Did you write that before?
And World War II hero Dwight Eisenhower win the nomination and choose Richard Nixon as
Yes.
his running mate.
What did you write after the is?
In 1964,
K.
a bitter fight inside the GOP.
N.
Conservative Senator Barry
O.
Goldwater beat the party's
W.
Eastern establishment and defended its controversial
L E D G E. Because it is knowledge, and then you wrote that. Because it is knowledge that would change the path. Is that what you wrote? Well, that's interesting. Yeah, because I'm very interested in that subject. So that's so interesting. Mary, do you know who's going to be president of the United States after the next election? No. Mary, do you yourself know how to compose music?
8 years later, Bush was the nominee. He tried to reassure conservatives with this pledge. Read my lips. And guess who I ran into on the convention floor? And here tonight is real estate.
Mary, remember when we were talking about my negative thinking, and you said that it was bad for my heart, what I was doing, like upon waking up? I was wondering, did you mean that it was bad, like literally, physiologically, for my my literal like heart and my body?
In 2008, the big news was John McCain's running mate.
You know, they say the difference between a hockey mom and a pit bull?
Yes.
Lipstick.
No.
Overstating it to say being right here.
Did you say yes and no?
Was born tonight, a new star in the political galaxy, and in 2012, the weirdest moment in all my
why do you say yes and no?
conversation with an empty chair.
What do you want me to tell Romney? I can't tell him to do that.
Why?
He can't do that to himself.
O U
Absolutely crazy.
R
As bad as Biden.
E I
Largely virtual convention.
G
It's a safe bet President Trump will put on quite a show, delighting his
F
supporters and setting off his opponents. Now, this
S
program now. Join us for a Democracy 2020
U,
convention
and then
from
you wrote
tonight at 2
R.
p.m. Eastern.
So what did you write after your?
All week on Fox News Channel.
Did you write
And now,
your?
really big news. Edward Thompson was born this week. Look for Teddy to make his first appearance
You
in
are.
his grandkid Christmas video
So you wrote.
later this year.
What did you write after your? Or you are? I can't tell which one it is. What did you write? Your what? What was the word you wrote after your? B
Hello, America. I'm Mark Levin. This is
O
Liberty and Levin, two incredibly
T
important subjects that have been used to
H
attack the president and try to sabotage
Both
his presidency and his election.
H
Mail-in voting, number one.
E
Number two, hydroxychloroquine.
A
The definitive show on
R
both subjects. I hope you'll stick with me.
T
Let's start with the mail-in
S.
voting and the post office.
Both hearts. So you mean it's bad for my spirit's heart too? Is that what you mean? My soul's heart.
Go.
Are you saying, say it directly, is this an attempt by the president, do you believe, to interfere?
Have I been doing better at being positive?
That are choking the post office, slowing it down.
They will destroy the postal service. They'll do it because they don't want people to vote.
This is nothing but a naked power grab by this presidency to make sure that he can't be
E
voted out of office. Do you yet
A
have any evidence? What, if any evidence, have you seen?
R
I can tell you based on my reporting, we only have reports
E
so far of these machines being removed.
L
Look at where those machines were taken down.
Y.
Precincts where these machines taken
So I'm
down.
barely doing better.
Where are the
Mary, do I have to worry about like having heart problems in my life?
We're on to everything he's doing.
All of this seems
to disenfranchise people.
That's absolutely what this is.
It's incredibly widespread. It's affecting every single region of the country.
Okay, well, I'll still try and be whatever's good for my heart, because I want both hearts to be as good as they can be. Mary, my next question is about Padmasambhava and the Hindu Buddha. Are they still in the core journey?
This will be the shame of the Republican Party for generations.
This is a crisis.
It is terrifying.
It's absolutely disgusting.
Mary, is it often that those who are sort of like spiritual, like the Buddha and Padmasambhava, they're like spiritual teachers, is it normal that those would be in the core journey for longer than someone like myself, who's just like, a novice at being spiritual?
It's been shocking. You can imagine people who watch CNN, MSNBC, the network news, how listen to the lies that come out of the media and the Democrat politicians, and notice you can't tell one from the other.
So,
exactly the same thing.
Why do you think? Is it just coincidence that both of those are in the core journey for a really long time?
So-called news site Politico, Edward Foley, an election law expert. First of all, let's talk about how this works. It's the states with a primary action.
Are they alone in their core journey? Like, it's just them, and they don't run into any other entities in the core journey?
States, you got to get your ballot on time. If you don't get your ballot on time, you won't get your vote on time. We saw this problem in Wisconsin in the primary just a little bit ago. Some states, they have laws, they're election laws. A ballot is eligible based on the postmark. It needs to be postmarked by election day. Other states,
Mary, can one compose music in the core journey?
By election day. What else? You have clerical errors on these ballots. Clerical errors from the state or errors that are made by the people filling them out. Names, signatures. You got to use certain types of envelopes. Some of them require tax numbers or social security numbers, or who knows what they require. And if they're not filled out properly, they're kicked. In 2018,
Mary, if someone is in the core journey, can they be released from the core journey and still be in the fourth dimension?
Much lower number of mail-in ballots.
Like, can they backtrack?
8.2% of the ballots not counted due to process errors. We have 33 million mail-in votes this last time. We could have upwards of 80 million. Now imagine an 8.2% error rate. That's a disaster. Has nothing to do, in this respect, with the post office. It has to do with state laws.
Mary, are most spirits confused while they're in the fourth dimension? Is that like a state of confusion for most souls?
And that's what the president keeps talking about. This could be a disaster. Meanwhile, Nancy Pelosi tried to slip language in the last relief bill that would compel all states to provide nationwide mail-in voting. Flood the system, overwhelm the system, and make election day an impossible result. And you can have a full-blown constitutional crisis, as I said, involving the United States Supreme Court, even beyond that. And I'm not going to get into the weeds on this. Ultimately,
Mary, you said shortly.
Which is another mess.
So
Imagine this. Casting ballots is one thing.
So they have a short bout of confusion in the fourth dimension, and then the rest of the fourth dimension they're not confused. Is that true?
Mail-in ballots. Voting rolls in the states are a mess. It's one of the reasons why you have problems.
Mary, a couple of months ago, I talked with you about or I talked to someone who said that they were in the fourth dimension, and they seemed confused. Did that person just recently arrive in the fourth dimension? Or do you know? No. Are you saying that they didn't just arrive in the fourth dimension? That's what you're saying?
Even before they were open, based on
No.
mistakes with their exterior envelope, 20%.
You're saying that you don't know if they just arrived in the fourth dimension. Is that true?
Were rejected. In Nevada, 250,000 ballots sent to voters
Yes.
were returned as undeliverable. Now, this is a problem
Mary, from your perspective, will I be in the fifth dimension in a short amount of time? Like if I'm going in the fifth dimension in this life, does that seem like a really short time from you and your perspective? Like your whole guiding me and all that, is that just like not long at all from your perspective?
Biden was vice president and Obama was president. 14,000 mailboxes removed
Yes.
from the Obama-Biden administration.
So like for you, it's like almost like tomorrow, like I'm going to be there in the fifth dimension with you. But to me, it seems like a whole lifetime. Is that true?
Rural and suburban neighborhoods. That's enormous. Mailboxes that collect less than 25 pieces of mail a day are routinely removed. This is before the President of the United States, Donald
Yes.
Trump, even took his oath of office.
Do you look forward to seeing me when I'm in the fifth dimension?
Removed. Processing machines are routinely updated, replaced, and then they have maintenance. There's no sabotage going on here except by the Democrats. Why?
R
Remember Cloud
H
said, and many of you have never heard of them. They were social
A
professors, and they wrote several
P
articles. And what they talked
S.
about primarily was flood the system, overwhelm the system.
Mary, what are some of the things that we're going to do when I'm in the fifth dimension? Like, are we going to hang out?
The system, particularly in the battleground states, to raise questions about the vote if Donald Trump is ahead, to raise questions about Donald Trump if they're ahead and he wants to challenge them in court. Meanwhile, Joe Biden has hired 600 lawyers in preparation for the litigation. And that's why the President of the United States keeps saying this is a huge problem. And that's why the Democrat Party and the Democratic Party keep blaming the President of the United States. Now, what about the Postal Service? They have been plagued with delays for half a century. In the first 6 months of 2015, the Obama-Biden administration, half of
Alright, so
500 million pieces of mail
I is next to
the prior year.
H and B is next to A. So I'm guessing you said that I can't know. Did you say that I can't know?
In the making. So I wanted to bring an expert on, Hans von Spakovsky, Heritage Foundation senior legal fellow, but he's been the commissioner of the
Mary, are there other types of opaque beings like wisps and fairies that are in between the third and fourth dimension?
Hans, where am I wrong?
No, I think you summed up the situation exactly right.
Can you name me one of those? Can you name me one of the beings?
Everything from ballots not getting delivered in the mail to voters to the huge rejection rate.
That's opaque there, besides wisps and fairies.
Count the ballots to understand that if you multiply that to the rest of the country in the general election, we are going to have chaos, confusion, and litigation galore over
Y.
I don't know why people think that overwhelming the Postal Service with
P.
state election laws and
H.
And all kinds of errors that people have when they fill in
S.
a mail-in ballot. Why they think that's going to go smoothly. What is the
Does that mean like sexual, like they're nymphomaniacs? Is that what?
The purpose of in-person voting, which
Is that
the way
true?
we have voted
No.
since the beginning of the country, is because...
So what is a nymph? Can you tell me about them?
You are filling out your ballot. You're doing it under the supervision of election officials and the observation of poll watchers so that you can ensure that no one is pressuring or forcing you in the polling place to vote a particular way. And then you yourself are putting the ballot in the ballot box. All of that is not happening when you vote by mail. Electioneering laws, for example, which prohibit candidates from electioneering anywhere inside or close to a polling place, don't apply to people's homes. That means that party activists, campaign staffers, political guns for hire can show up at your home and pressure you to vote a particular way or coerce you to vote a particular way. And
Can nymphs, can they, do they have like 2 arms and 2 legs? Like people?
You are putting your ballot after you've completed it into the mail, hoping that the Postal Service will deliver it in time.
Do they go to the fourth dimension?
Every single recent primary, from Wisconsin to the District of Columbia to Maryland to New York, all of them are states where they encouraged
Yes.
and try to vote by absentee ballot, and every single one of the states.
So they live in between the third and fourth dimension, and they go to the fourth dimension. Is that true?
In delivery to voters to the point where it was too late to vote them. When we come back,
Do they ever go to the fifth dimension?
There's been a lot of talk that the Postal Service needs another $25 billion, $3.5 billion specifically to improve mail-in voting. So let me return my question to you is, what will $25 billion...
Mary, was the fifth dimension basically created for people like you and me?
We'll be right back.
Yes.
What getting fueled with one protein feels like. What getting fueled with three energy-packed proteins feels like.
Mary, if your fourth dimensional experiences are recorded in the realm before ever incarnating, does that mean that you can watch them?
Hey, I'm Nick. We created Gabby because most people overpay for car insurance. Gabby is a free tool that saves you money by finding the best deal.
No.
Gabby saves users over $800 a year on average. Go to Gabby.com.
Mary, are they recorded?
Let me ask you a question.
Your fourth dimensional experiences?
Healthier, maybe lose some weight. Guys, I've got you.
Lose up to 18 pounds in your first 2 months. Money
Yes.
back guarantee. Order right now.
Mary, why are they recorded if you can't watch them? What's the purpose of recording the fourth dimensional experiences?
Order online. Either way, don't wait.
Go online. Porthole 888-521-BID8 to save 50%
I
on meals
see.
and 50% on a month of shakes.
A N
Today, your information is more
T
exposed than ever.
K
When you shop, bank, or
N
browse online,
O
you're vulnerable to cyber criminals.
W.
More threats demand more protection.
Okay.
That's why Norton and LifeLock are now one, combining device security
We only got a few more minutes.
online privacy.
Mary,
Identity theft
when
protection.
you feel peace inside, do you smile at the same time? Because you said you like peace in the
COPD makes it
well,
hard to breathe.
that's one of the things you like doing is feeling good peace, nice peace. Do you smile when you feel peace?
COPD tries to say go this way. I say I'll go my own way with Anoro. Once daily Anoro contains
S
two medicines called
O
bronchodilators that work together to significantly
M
improve lung function all day and all
E
night. Do not use Anoro if you have asthma.
some.
Anoro won't replace
Mary, does Icarus work? Like your job is to be a guide. Does your mate Icarus, does he work?
Prostate, bladder, or urinary problems. These may worsen with Anoro. Call your doctor if you have
H
worsening breathing, chest pain, mouth and
E
tongue swelling, problems urinating,
H
vision changes, or eye pain while taking Anoro.
A
The most common side effects are sore throat,
S
diarrhea, and pain in the arms and legs.
A
Ask your doctor about once daily Anoro to start treating your COPD.
S
We're here for you during this challenging time,
T
and always find support
A
at Anoro.com.
When you can't
T
watch, listen. Get the latest news.
I
News headlines on SiriusXM.
T
Anytime, anywhere. Fox News Audio on SiriusXM.
and he has a station. That was an O, not a P. You said he has a station?
Ticket in American history and the agenda to prove it. A pro-abortion Supreme Court and
Mary,
even at 9
I need to ask you, is an ascended master a real thing? Is that a literal thing? There are human beings who become ascended masters.
disturbing views, troubling policies. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are pro-abortion fanatics. Women Speak Out PAC is responsible
I
for content to this advertising.
C A N T S A Y. Mary, what is the station? What could you describe Icarus's station? A station of what? A R O L E.
Welcome back. We're back with election law.
Did you write a roll?
And he is a former commissioner of the Federal Election
Okay.
Commission.
Well, thank you so much for talking to me, Mary. I'll be right back. I'm going to turn this off.
Heritage Foundation. So my question